So I think most of us in the Northeast are still in your debt, very much so, for giving Kathy Hochul a run for her money and coming within a few points of actually beating a Democrat to become the governor of New York. We're just crying in our soup that you didn't actually get it across the finish line in the end. But what yeoman's work. You're really the reason that New York started thinking maybe we could win here if they're Republicans. And many people credit you with the 5 seats they picked up in the following in that midterm.
Yeah, and that was actually 4 years ago yesterday that we started that campaign. We started 19 months to the day before the election. We worked hard. It's a big state, but we made the rounds and found that there were a whole lot of independents and Democrats who were prioritizing issues that transcended partisan loyalty, and they wanted to save the state, and we were happy to do it. And things happen for a reason. It's funny how things work out, and while the silver lining of that campaign was how we were able to keep the House for the final 2 years of President Biden's time in office. Here we are now. And obviously, I wouldn't have this opportunity to help fight for a strong, great president and a golden age of America serving in his cabinet. If I was up in Albany, I'd be watching from there.
I know, but Albany needs you so badly. Like, as a lifelong New York State gal, it's just so sad what's happened there. It's becoming California in so many ways, even though it's got very deep pockets of red, like in upstate where I grew up. Before we move on to EPA, let me just ask you like 2 political questions, if you don't mind. It was believed that Andrew Cuomo would probably be your stiffest competition for that gubernatorial race, but his career ended in tatters after the Me Too allegations and after, he basically killed a bunch of people in the New York nursing homes after ordering COVID positive patients to go in there and not be screened. Lee Zeldin, he's coming back. He now has decided to run for mayor of New York. And as you know, the person who wins mayor of New York is the person who wins the Democrat primary, with all due respect to Curtis Lewa, who's running on the GOP side. That New York is just so Democrat, so blue. And he's way up. He's got 30% of the vote by the latest polls. Mayor Adams down to like 4 or 8%. His next closest somebody has 10%. I can't believe New Yorkers are about to do this, but it appears they're about to restore this guy to power. What do you think of it?
Shows how quickly people can forget. I mean, he's out there talking about issues as if he wasn't the governor when so many of these laws were getting passed to protect criminals across the state. And now he's out there advocating for public safety as if he wasn't the governor when they were pushing for cashless bail and these other laws like raise the age and a qualified immunity, which was gaining legs under his watch, and all these members of the parole board who've been releasing cop killers. And you get this clean slate. He ends up resigning, and then a few years later, he's treated as if none of that ever happened. And the irony is that it's not just that he isn't owning his past record, he's taking the opposite position. I think it's just important for voters to get informed on their options and to not forget, because we've been here once. And don't come back to us a year after Andrew Cuomo gets elected mayor of New York City and act as if his own record didn't give you forewarning. Yeah,
I'm honestly I shudder to think and I kind of know what my friend Janice Dean is thinking about this. She and her husband Sean can't stand this guy. Both of Sean's parents were killed in New York City nursing homes because of him, because of that order for which he's taken no accountability. He's lied over it. I know you know Janice a bit too. That's who I think of. I think of the actual families who suffered as a result of his inane decisions about which he was warned. It's not like people had no idea. They knew it would happen, and he did it anyway.
Yeah, and during the final days and weeks of Andrew Cuomo's time as governor, there was this increased impeachment push amongst the ranks of the Democrats who were serving in the state legislature. And they were talking about it as if the only cause of this were the sexual assault, abuse, harassment allegations. And meanwhile, we can't forget that what actually was taking root at even a bigger level at that time was an investigation that came out of the Federal Department of Justice. You had thousands of families. You mentioned Janice Dean and her family and what they went through. And there were thousands of families who wanted answers and justice for their deceased loved ones. And I think that was part of the calculation of some of these members of the state legislature who were coming out in favor of trying to get Andrew Cuomo out under the cover of some of these complaints that were being brought forward by women who also didn't want to talk about the deadly nursing home order and cover up.
Yes, I totally agree with you. It's sad to me to see my city that I lived in for 17 years take this leap off of a bridge with this guy. It's just a stupid, reckless thing to do in my view. Tariff wars, stubborn inflation. No wonder gold has been routinely hitting all-time highs. In volatile markets like the one we have now, don't sit on the sidelines with your head in the sand. You can take control and safeguard your savings. Aren't you thinking about that today? That's why so many Americans today are turning to Birch Gold Group. They've helped tens of thousands convert an existing IRA or 401k into one in physical gold. Is it time for you to hedge against economic instability or market instability with gold? To learn how to own physical gold in a tax-sheltered account, text MK to the number 989898. Birch Gold will send you a free, no-obligation info kit. Again, just text MK to the number 989898. With an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless five-star reviews, Birch Gold has helped many protect their savings with gold. It took us decades to get into the tangled mess we're trying to unpack right now. How long will it take to get out of it? And at what cost? Text MK to 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.